Hello and welcome to D2 Destinations. This week we go on a 4-day trip up to Niagara Falls, the amazing seventh wonder of the world, where you can zip line down into the ravine with the falls in the background. We'll also go off to Niagara on the Lake, where there are almost 100 different wineries that you can visit, some by bicycle, some by Uber. You end up in the ice bar. It's tremendous. And then off to Toronto, where we will go to the top of the CN Tower. And the views up here are absolutely extraordinary. So come along this week as we travel out of Tampa and go to the northeast for Niagara Falls and Toronto. Here we are at the majestic Niagara Falls. What a view. This is just absolutely breathtaking. If you've never seen this, you owe it to yourself to come here at least once in your lifetime. You get on this boat and they will take you right up into the Horseshoe Falls. Here you can see the American Falls in the distance. We're going to go to that bridge to get on the boat. This bridge is a marking point where you will get your poncho to board. Even the puppies get a poncho. It's amazing.
That is so cool. Hey buddy, you ready?
Woohoo! We are doing it! We are doing my bucket list trip. I wanted to see Niagara Falls after, I don't know, since I was a kid. Here we are, and it's incredible. Feel me now?
I am now.
Woo! We are now literally floating into the falls. It's exhilarating and a little, really weird. There's mist everywhere, but it is exciting as hell.
This is really fantastic. You guys should be here. If you get a chance to do it, get on the boat. You're gonna love it. Right here at the base of the Horseshoe Falls.
Being on the boat itself is really incredible. When you're down in the Horseshoe Falls, the wind kicks up and you get the mist in your face and you get the true experience of being at Niagara Falls.
And that's incredible. What do you think, babe? You loving this or what?
It's exhilarating. It's amazing. It was worth
right here in the falls.
everything you think it's going to be. It is.
Yeah, and the water is rushing by.
There are two boat services, one from the Canadian side and one from the American side. The American side is the blue one over there. It's called Maid of the Mist. The one that we're on is called the Hornblower. That's the American Falls right behind us. It's really an amazing sight with the Bridal Falls and the American Falls to the left.
Say hi.
Hi. We're on the American side now.
Okay, here's a list of the things you should really do. Consider seeing the falls from the American side from Goat Island. You get a totally different perspective of the Horseshoe Falls and the grandeur of how far this falls down into the ravine. From the Canadian side, you might also want to consider going up the Skylon Tower and having dinner in their revolving dining room. There's also a journey behind the falls that gets you up close, right behind the waterfall itself. But definitely take the boat ride. That is one thing you will remember. There's also the Whirlpool Aero Car and Niagara's Fury. This is Clifton Hill, the most commercial side at Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, where you have Ripley's Believe It or Not and many other attractions, including the Hard Rock Cafe. We had a tremendous time in Niagara Falls, but now we're off to Niagara on the Lake. Niagara on the Lake is famous for all of its wineries. There are bicycle tracks all around town that go right by the major wineries. You can rent these for $8 an hour. The scenery of the Niagara River, which is right up at the mouth of Lake Ontario, is spectacular. The trails are well groomed and they have these great little bridges and trails so you can enjoy the entire town on these trails.
We are on our next adventure on our great North American bucket list tour at Niagara on the Lake. Really cool town, and they're known for tremendous wine and vineyards. And we're about to do a really cool wine tasting at Peller Estates. Behind me are the beautiful vineyards, and we're going to end up at this really cool place, literally their ice bar. Cheers.
The Peller Wine Estate is an incredible facility to visit. They give you a tour of the outside going by the vineyards and then later onto the inside. Your guide will give you specifics on each of the wines. There's no better way to taste the ice wine than in their ice bar. And we met our Singapore friends who are going to teach us how to toast in their language, coming up now.
1, 2, 3. Yeah!
We just finished our wine tasting at the Peller Estates, and now there's this little pathway to take us to the next winery, which is Two Sisters Vineyards. And this pathway is absolutely beautiful. Check this out. I've never gone hiking for wine, but I like the idea.
What a tremendous time of year. The harvest is almost upon us.
Through the vineyards for wine. It's like a wine hike.
This is a wine hike. We're on the wine hike. We're going through the vineyards to get to Two Sisters. It's walking distance from
Peller. So in previous vacations, you go on a hike and you see a waterfall. You go on a hike and you see a glacier. But this one, you go on a hike and we're gonna get wine. I think this is what heaven looks like.
This is a great way to do it.
Yes.
If you don't walk through the vineyards and come to the front gate, this is what Two Sisters really looks like. And they have an incredible selection of wine. So don't miss Two Sisters Winery on your travels.
Upward and onward, we are now at Gretzky Winery. The famous hockey great has its own winery right here in Niagara by the Lake. We're going to do a wine tasting at his place and also at his sister location.
So right next to Wayne Gretzky's place is the Trius Winery. They crush their own wines and make them right here on spot. But we're going to go inside for a taste test. And they have an incredible selection. The presentation of their reds and their whites and all of their other wines, including a sparkling wine center, is just fabulous. So I believe in bubbles is what Deb would say. Now, back to Gretzky's place, where we're going to check out his selection. Now, of course, Wayne Gretzky was the greatest on the ice, but he also produces some really nice whiskeys and wines. You can see a lot of the wineries by bicycle, but there's also Uber service available in town to see all of the other wineries. One of the places you don't want to miss is the so-called haunted Ye Olde Angel Inn.
We're here at the Angel's Inn. This is the oldest bar in Canada. They say it's haunted. And you know what? I met these cool spirits. These two kids got married just 2 days ago. It's awesome. We're all celebrating here at oldest bar in Canada. You guys having fun?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Olde Angel Inn certainly is a great place to visit, but now we're on our way to Toronto. And oh yeah, QEW traffic. Be aware of that. If you're driving from Niagara Falls or Niagara on the Lake, it will take you about 2.5 hours, but you will arrive in this amazing city, and that is the CN Tower, where you can take a tour all the way to the top. You can buy your tickets online or at the site. They do have a priority ticket, which costs about $25 more each, which will put you on these elevators so you can skip that hour to hour-and-a-half line. The elevator rises rapidly all the way to the top of the observatory area, and then when you get to the observatory area, you walk over to the windows and you can see everything. You are higher than everything in the Western Hemisphere. There you see the islands, which we will go to a little bit later. They have a cafe area overlooking the airport. That's not the Toronto airport, that's the airport right on the islands. There are no vehicles on that island as far as cars, but they do have a school bus. You get on a taxi right down here at the waterfront, and that'll take you over to the islands. But the view from up here of the entire city is absolutely spectacular. A 360-degree turn all the way around the entire city. That's where the Blue Jays play, right next door. And this is a glass floor that you can walk on and look all the way down to the ground. Yeah, that's amazing and kind of nerve-wracking actually as well. It's just a beautiful sight up here. Well worth it. If you're in Toronto, the CN Tower is one of the things you want to do. There are many others, and we will take you on several of those. But now it's time to go back down the elevator. And that's the outside elevator that you can see comes all the way down through those slats to the CN Tower ticket office, which is right over here to the right. And if you don't want to wait in that long line, again, you can purchase the priority ticket and go to the front of the line. If you decide to wait in that line, get yourself a snack here first. And while we were there, it was amazing. The Blue Angels were in town for the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition. This year, the CNE was the same time as Labor Day weekend, but now we're heading down towards the waterfront. But on the way, you'll see this historic museum of all of the old trains. On your way down to the waterfront, we're going to get the taxi, which will take us over to the islands. And then once we get on the islands, we're going to rent a bicycle and tour around, and you can see the amazing city from a different vantage point. The taxi does cost about $12, or you can take the ferry for free. Once on the island, they have a small entertainment center for children, but you want to go past this fountain and all of the beautiful flowers to get to the bicycle renting place. Here, you can rent individual, tandem, or quad bicycles. There's a beautiful trail around the entire island, including this boardwalk, which is right on the water of Lake Ontario. The trail will take you to the beach, which they have, and it is really spectacular. However, that water is much, much colder than the Gulf of Mexico, which we are used to in Florida. But up here, the Canadians love the beach, and this is one of the best.
All right, so here's the sand up in Toronto, Canada, and it's brown, fine, but it's not clear water sand.
The Riviera is a wonderful place to stop for a cool drink and lunch in this wonderful outdoor cafe with a view of Lake Ontario in the distance.
Hey baby, what do you think?
It's fabulous, baby.
Good, huh?
Bike ride, beer, boats.
The bike paths around the islands are absolutely incredible for pedestrians and cyclists. The flower beds are gorgeous, and you can rent kayaks and take to the waterways around the islands. This is the view you see from over here, as opposed to the hustle and bustle of downtown. The Toronto Islands are a wonderful place to spend the day, but now it's time to catch the water taxi and head back over into the city. First stop is going to be at the St. Lawrence Market, where inside there is fresh food, there is cooked food, anything you need you can get, starting here at the Carousel Bakery and the pea meal bacon sandwich. This thing is fantastic.
Pea meal sandwich from Carousel Bakery. You gotta have it at the St. Lawrence Market. Let's see how it is. Oh wow, it's really good.
Now eating the famous, what's this called again? The peace meal.
Pea meal.
I'll let you know that.
Good?
The St. Lawrence Market has everything, including some of the freshest meat cuts you will ever see. They also have on site many cooked foods where if you're hungry right now, you can grab a snack and eat it. Or, of course, a wine store where you can buy any bottle you want and take it out for later on. Fresh seafood is in abundance at this marketplace, and they also have this incredible oyster bar where you can get the freshest oysters right off the boat. If you want maple syrup, they have that as well. There are so many things that you can see and eat here, including pasta, pizza, and don't forget the desserts. They're incredible. Now off to the Hockey Hall of Fame, where you can touch the Stanley Cup. you have to go through this walkway and then through a cafeteria before you finally get to the entrance of the Hockey Hall of Fame, but well worth it. Inside the Hall of Fame, you can find your favorite players, including Tim Horton, and there's an interactive site where you can play goaltender, which Deb really enjoyed, and you can also enjoy being a center.
Another save, Denny. Here we are on the big shootout. Here goes Denny. Boom.
We had a great time at the Interactive Center. Deb played one of the hosts of Sports Center. I think she did a really good job. Also, you'll see some of the old games here and some of your favorite players and their memorabilia. Now we're off to the nightlife at the Loose Moose, and here are the steps of all the sins. But what a great facility this is. A really good time. You can also go to the Historic District where they have many breweries, and the vibe here is just absolutely fantastic. You can buy these locks for $10 and put your names on them and put them on the Wall of Love. My favorite place here is the Mill Street Brewery because they hooked me up to see the Penn State game.
So we're at the Mill Street Brewery in Toronto, and the best thing about this place is that they have the Penn State game for Denny, because he must watch Penn State tonight. Colin has taken great care of us.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. Woo-hoo!
Needless to say, the Distillery District is one great stop that you should include while in Toronto. But next up, we have Second City.
Second City, here we come.
Woo-hoo!
Second City opened in 1973 in Toronto with Bill Murray and John Candy and a lot of the other SNL stars. Here we see the main stage where the comedy is about to take place, and you can always get a drink from the bar. After the show, we went to a rooftop bar, and Deb has some advice for young women traveling in big cities.
Okay, there's a girl in the hotel room that thinks you cannot see in. And apparently, I'm on the rooftop bar, and I'm the only one that can see her. And she's taking all of her clothes off. And oh my God. You know, it's like everyone's oblivious except me. It's great.
The next day, we ventured to Queen Street West, where we saw Nathan Phillips Square in front of City Hall. And if you're hungry for breakfast or brunch, stop off at Expectation. It's spectacular. Now we're going to head west on West Queen Street and find Graffiti Alley.
We are now at Graffiti Alley, which is a great way to enjoy some really cool street art for free. It's in a really cool district, too.
Graffiti Alley is located south of Queen Street West, just west of Spadina Avenue. Here you will see some amazing artwork. Now, this artwork changes consistently, so depending on the time of year you get here, you're going to see many different murals than what we're looking at right now. The skill and determination of these artists is amazing, giving the grand scale of these 3 to 4 story buildings that they're making this artwork on. Come by and check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy Graffiti Alley. The Blue Angels are performing for a second day here in the city for the Canadian National Exhibition. This has been a wonderful trip. There are so many things to see in the city, including Casa Loma, Little Italy, the Royal Museum, and so many other things. But now it's time to get back on that QEW and head back to Buffalo, where we flew in and out of. At least there's one stretch of the QEW where somebody looks like they're really having a good time. We are crossing the Rainbow Bridge back into the United States, where you can see the Horseshoe Falls in the distance as well as the American Falls on the left-hand side. And it looks like another boat is going out, either the Hornblower or Maid of the Mist. Traffic is light today at Customs, but if you're leaving from Buffalo, you want to stop by the original Anchor Bar, home of the Buffalo Chicken Wing. The story is here about how that wing was created. The inside of the bar is a fabulous place, and Mama herself will serve up the wings. On the interior, they have great memorabilia, and before you leave, don't forget to try the beef on weck. The beef on weck is a staple of buffalo food, just like the chicken wing. So come on down to the Anchor Bar. We had a great trip touring Niagara Falls, both the American Falls and the Horseshoe Falls, as well as Toronto. And don't forget, if you're in the area, go to Niagara on the Lake and tour all the fine wineries that they have. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Please remember to like and subscribe.